Welcome to Two Gals and a Glass Half Full. We are Dr. Jess and Dr. Bobbie, two physical therapists just trying to live healthy most of the time and doing our best to see our personal glasses as half full. Some days that is much harder than others. On this podcast, sometimes we interview others more knowledgeable than us on different topics to teach us about things we may not know. And other times, like today, you are stuck with Dr. Jess and I sharing our information and knowledge. So make sure you hit subscribe button below and stay up to date on all the Two Gals happenings. We have some exciting things in the work for this year and we can't wait to share them with you. So as we get started, we're in a new month. We're in the month of February. Before we get going, because this is a month that Jess and I absolutely love, Dr. Jess, what is in your glass today?
Today I have some kombucha. It's called the Guava Goddess. It's actually pretty good. It's got 9 billion living probiotics. So this is my little treat today. Other than this is going to be coffee and water. Well, I finished my coffee now, water and some kombucha. Yeah. So Dr. Bobbie, what's in your glass?
I have to say I miss my kombucha. I'm not allowed to have it right now. So maybe with wine, kombucha might be the other drink that I can't wait to have in a few months. But I am on just water, plain old water. I'm actually really proud of myself. We're recording this in the morning. It's like 9:30 my time, and I've already finished one whole one.
Nice.
So I'm on my second one. So doing good today. Some other days lately has not been so good, which is why I was like, I need to get on it today.
I like it. So as Dr. Bobbie was saying, this is one of our favorite months because this is the month that we talk about exercise. And as physical therapists, this is, something that we really enjoy. We use exercise essentially as medicine to fill in gaps with patients. We also use exercise in our own lives to help keep ourselves healthy. And so that's why it's like something that we're pretty passionate about. Now, in this episode, what we'd like to talk about is how to reframe your thinking so that we can move exercise from this vision of obligation to a want or something that you look forward to. And I know this is a lofty goal. I really do understand that. Dr. Bobbie and I have both gone through our ups and downs with exercise where it is something that's obligatory and you're just kind of like, it's like eating your lima beans. You just do it so that you can get that sweet treat so that you earn whatever it is that you actually really want. How do we get that thinking to switch where it is something that is fun and fulfilling and you feel good and actually enjoy doing it, and you're getting all the health benefits? So it's like really win plus win. And so that's the whole point today. So we're going to talk about cardio, different ways to kind of reframe that thinking. And then we're also going to talk about strengthening. So Dr. Bobbie, what are different strategies that you've used to be able to have cardio be something that you actually look forward to and enjoy?
So I think the main thing, the main key is finding fun, making it fun. And whether it's fun, it's something you enjoy and trying different things or doing it with someone. So this past weekend we went skiing and that's a little bit more strengthening, but sledding up here in the north, it is a lot of cardio to pull that sled up the hill and back down and pull the kids up the hill and back down. And then they can't pull their sleds, so you're pulling there. So I think for me, it's finding activities that are enjoyable, and trying different activities and realizing, for me at least, those activities change as I change or as the season changes. I can't go sledding in the summer, but I can run outside or I can go for walks with friends or enjoy. Sometimes it's nice. We have a downtown area here just to walk around for an hour or two in the summer. So finding different things like that. One thing I really enjoy is rollerblading. I know we've talked about that, Jess.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I like to find activities and I like to change them up. I am not one that is able to do the same thing every day. So you're not going to find me on the treadmill running 5 miles a day. I do like an elliptical. But still, even that, I like to change it up. I like to have different options. How about you, Dr. Jess? What do you find for cardio that's enjoyable, that has helped it not be a task that you have to complete?
So for me, I grew up playing sports. So that was super easy. It was scheduled for me. And I actually when I would play sports, running was typically punishment, right? So
Yes.
running is not something that I enjoyed. It was like, no, you only run if you're in trouble. And so
I set many hours in gymnastics. We couldn't like so in the summer we'd go running. In gymnastics, I set time on the stationary bike, and I hated that bike.
yeah, yeah.
Maybe a little bit why I'm not a fan of spinning.
Mm-hmm. So I've had to work big time on reframing my thinking when it comes to how to get in exercise, because leaving something that's so organized with like times and you're there and it's already built out for you, to having to build something on my own really took a lot of trial and error. And so I did play like a lot of intramurals, and in grad school I played beach volleyball. So that was like crazy cardio. Beach volleyball is legit. Trying to move in the sand like that. We do a lot of like, or even just like, my siblings and I, we do like a lot of volleyball on the beach, football on the beach, things like that, where you're just like running around. But it still wasn't giving me as much structure into my week as what I wanted, because I wasn't getting as much midweek. And so those are like easier things on the weekends or when you have like a little bit more time. And so the midweek is when I really started thinking about like, well, what does that look like? And I do enjoy tennis. And so having like a weekly like with a tennis partner to play tennis. I did that for years and years. Right now it's a little tough with kids just because of the time commitment. It's a little bit hard. And so again, I've had to again restructure, reframe. And so for me, running is something that has come into my life now. It's always been there. I've been running now for probably about 20 years, but like it's kind of come and gone over the years with like, I'll be really into running and I'll have like, run 3-4 days a week. And then I'll kind of get into more tennis and sports. And then I'll get back into running and I'll get back into it. So I always come back to tennis and volleyball. And so right now I'm in more of a running phase, and it's just because of the phase of life. I can push a stroller. I don't have to find a sitter. I can do it. It pretty much in Florida, we can run year round. So for me, it works for the consistency. And the thing with running for me is that I can use that in a mindful way. And so I can use that to just kind of help me just process my day, right? I can use it as a way to connect with the kids. I can talk with them while I run. Hey, like, in the stroller, how was your day? Tell me about it. Tell me what your wins were. Tell me, and so there we're getting that communication while I'm getting my run in. And then I also can use running to still be productive. I know this sounds like, I am all about like multitasking. And so I'll pop in my AirPods and I'll do a running meeting. Anybody that knows me well enough has had some sort of meeting with me while I'm running. Anybody. Because it's like I can still get that meeting done and get my run done. And so I just, when time is precious, it's something that I can do, because I can still talk. And so Dr. Bobbie's commonly in my ear as I'm running. So we can plan episodes, we can talk about upcoming content we want to do, things like that. And vice versa. She might be, on her AirPods and I'm the one on the computer, typing as we're meeting. So we kind of go back and forth with that.
And I like Jess is like kind of gotten to the point where she's found her groove. And I definitely this past year I started a fellowship in March, and the time commitment with that and the travel with that was insane. And so I actually have gotten out of and still like in that process of trying to find something. And then along the way getting pregnant definitely changed everything. So I'm still like, to be completely honest, like right now, like if I try to do like 15-20 minutes on elliptical like 3-4 times a week, and like I mark that off as a win, because for me that's a win right now. Just trying to do that. So I'm in a phase of life where it's like kind of that low of like trying to restructure, refigure everything out. And like I kind of see when the baby comes in June, like, oh, I look forward to walks and getting back into running and getting back into this. But right now my life is definitely, it's so up and down, and how I feel is up and down. It's definitely a lot harder right now.
For sure. And I think just giving yourself grace when you are in a lull is like really important. I remember my first trimester with both pregnancies, I would be done with my workday, and just the thought of like the energy to change my clothes to then work out was like, I'm just going to lay on the floor and take a nap. Like, that it was not gonna happen. And so again, just like 15 minutes, 10 minutes is like so much more than none. I mean, last night,
Mhm.
like I wanted to do a strengthening workout, and I was like, okay, like I'm gonna do it. And I got home and it was so cold outside and it was dark, and I was like, like I just couldn't motivate myself to work out in the cold and the dark. And so I had both boys with me. So I was like, you know what? Like, I'm gonna go ahead and like do just a little bit of a workout, just get some lunges, get some lateral lunges. I kind of built like a little bit of a routine that I could do, have the boys with me, and we made it fun. It was 50% of what I would have done with weights and TRX and everything else, but it was more than nothing. So
And
that
you got
counted
time with
as
the
well.
boys.
Right,
You
exactly.
got time with the kids. So, but I think what you said, like grace, like having a lot of grace during that period is really important. Especially, um, it doesn't sound like a lot, but when 10, 15 pounds on your body when you're not used to it, and going into this, I wasn't working out from the fellowship, like just little things that I used to do that now I try, and I'm like, hey, I'm like out of breath walking to the door. And you're just like, your brain's like, what? I used to run like miles. Like I can't even walk right now. So just like
Yeah.
a lot of grace and a lot of patience and a lot of like, as you said, I like the word you say, reframing of like, okay,
Mhm.
like instead of like getting hard on myself, instead of being upset, instead of like not being happy where I am, like look at it as, okay, I won, I did something,
Mhm. Yeah.
as Dr. Chase used to say, a little bit of something's better than a whole lot of nothing. And that's definitely something we live on.
Right. And I do think like when you go through different phases of life, trying to think about like, what do I want to look forward to? And so it's like, yeah, like for you, like walking with the baby. I mean, that's like, it's such good, like you get them outside, they get fresh air, you get your walk in, you start feeling stronger again. And it's like, okay, so that's what my plan's going to be. That's what it's going to look like. And so if you're somebody that maybe you're not in that phase of life with kids, but you're like, I do want to get outside and walk. I do want to like have these goals to shoot for. It's just like kind of hard to be motivated to do it by myself. Well, sometimes like having a dog as a walking partner can be good.
Mm-hmm.
I know, like I had, my bell dog passed away, recently, but she was always my running partner. So on days where I was just like, I'm kind of tired, maybe like in the morning, I didn't quite want to wake up early enough. Like she knew it was a run day.
Uh-huh.
And she'd be like, listen, girlfriend, get those shoes on. And so I would like, because of the accountability of her. But if you like have like a group of gals or guys that you meet with for like, a coffee group, a lunch group, a book club group, or any like group that you meet with, maybe just see if you want to organize a walking group with some of those people. Maybe other acquaintances have similar mindsets, or if you have a neighborhood group on Facebook, put it out there. Hey, like I'm looking for some people to walk with, and you can kind of come up with some routes, and then you have people to talk to, and then it's that accountability as well. So you're kind of looking forward to like, oh, I don't want to let them down. We were just talking about this. I wonder how that went with them, and it's a time to be able to meet together and maybe grab a coffee together afterwards, or whatever that might look like. So there's ways to kind of organize it so you're getting some accountability, but then also like having something that you enjoy and look forward to. So that's kind of so many strategies there.
Yeah, and I think the more fun you can make it, the more you enjoy it, the more consistent you'll be. And I think that's important. And just what you're saying with like the groups, like sometimes the hard part is like you have to start it. Like
Mhm.
you have to put yourself out there. And I think that
Yep.
can be a very hard position to be. But if you are looking for someone to walk with, I guarantee you there is someone in your neighborhood that is looking as well. And maybe they're just too scared to actually take that first step. So
Mhm.
um, if you can't find what you want, then create it.
Right. Yeah.
Take that risk.
Oh, for sure. And then the other thing is like if you have kids, like kids that are like to play outside and stuff, then like play outside with them. So like maybe at the end of the day you play basketball together for 20 or 30 minutes, or you go in the backyard and like play soccer, or whatever it might be. There's like you can incorporate kids into your active lifestyle, which then teaches the kids what an active lifestyle looks like. So, and
Hmm.
that's all cardio. You're just moving the whole time, which is super fun, and it's a good time to connect. So you can connect with other adults, you can connect with kids, you can connect with your partner, friends. You can do virtual connection like Dr. Bobbie and I do, where we pop our AirPods in. I'm like, hey, like join me today. And she's like, okay. So that way, like you are in the room by yourself, but like you can talk to somebody while you're working out, and then you can just be
Mhm.
motivating each other. And then it's also still time to connect, because that's how, that's how we all connect, is when we can really piece it together. It's hard to just say like, well, I'm going to sit down at this time and do nothing else and connect with this person. Like we can overlap how we're connecting with other people. So we're
One
getting our
of my
social needs too.
One thing I forgot, one of my favorite things to do in the summer, and this summer will be a little less because you can't take a baby when they're that young, but is bike riding, and just like going and exploring, going on paths. Um, it's just very enjoyable, and it's a little bit easier on your body sometimes too.
Mhm.
So it's like a really great to cross train with. Like if you're running, you can go rollerblading or you can go bike riding, doing those opposite things. So that way you're not just doing the same thing over and over, because that isn't great for your body either. It's really good to like mix up what you do.
Absolutely. Yeah. The cross training is definitely something that is, anybody is going to benefit from some form of cross training. That way you're keeping your body strong in different planes of motion, and then it helps decrease any sort of like habitual repetitive use like injury that can happen, because you're changing up the stressors on the body. And so it's just like, that's just good preventative stuff.
Mhm. We
Yeah,
love preventative.
we do
We'd
love.
rather, even though we're in physical therapy and we help a lot of people with their injuries, we would love to see everything switch to more of a preventative. And then obviously you can't prevent everything, but prevent as much as we can and then help when it's needed.
Oh, for sure, absolutely. So now moving on. So that's cardio. So the goals of cardio, big time, 150 minutes a week is of
Mhm.
getting your heart rate elevated, sustaining that elevated heart rate, and then, having it come back down. So that's cardiovascular exercise, running, walking, biking, sledding, playing sports, all of that is, versions of cardio. So 30 minutes, 5 days a week, an hour here and then 30 minutes a couple days, whatever works for your schedule for getting that amount of time is the recommended heart health, brain, neuromuscular health, decreases risk of so many types of cancer, diabetes, heart disease, almost every system of the body,
Blood pressure.
blood pressure, like cardiovascular exercise on a regular basis. It just decreases your risk across the board. So the number one thing you could do to help your health is move your body. Even mental health is improved. And so it's just reframing the thinking so that you're getting all of those benefits and you're finding ways to actually do it in an enjoyable way. Then it's like, wow, this is great. I mean, why would I
Hmm.
not? Uh, so moving on to strengthening. Now, again, we try not to do the shoulds, like you should strengthen 2 days a week. However, there is evidence, like research evidence to support that doing a whole body strengthening twice a week, one, it helps to decrease risk of injury. It will help decrease risk of falls, especially as you get older. And it's just a good way to like keep that metabolism going in a different way, which just helps with weight management as well. So it gives you different benefits than the cardio does. So blending the two into your week is actually quite helpful. And it doesn't have to be where strengthening means going to the gym and pushing heavy weight. That is not the entire definition of strengthening. So we're going to move into, how do we do strengthening in a fun way? I mean, some people like pushing heavy weight. I mean, we are going to, like the next episode, we're going to talk to a personal trainer who really does enjoy pushing heavy weight and tries to reframe that thinking of how to do that safely. And so that's going to be next week. But in this episode, we're not going to be talking much about that. It's more like, what are all of our other alternatives that we could do? So so Dr. Bobbie, what are different strengthening strategies that you've tried over the years?
So one of my favorites is finding. So a lot of times when you think of the gym, a lot of people think of like like an Anytime Fitness or a Lifetime Fitness, or those are a few around here. But just like your average box gym where it has the cardio equipment, has weight equipment, but like you go and do your own thing. One of my favorite has been finding like these little private gyms that kind of specialize in different areas. So when I used to live in Charleston, South Carolina, there was a place called Iron Fitness. And what I like about it is I didn't have to think about what I had to do. Like I went in, there was a workout plan for you. There was a group setting, everyone started together. And sometimes it was like fun, like you had to try to beat your time, or sometimes it was a weight thing. They just made it really fun for me. And so I actually really enjoyed it. It also was very similar to gymnastics, which I did my whole life. So like just finding something that I connected to that made me feel like I wasn't like just strength training. I wasn't just pushing weights. I was like having fun. So
Mhm.
like I enjoyed those type of things, but then I also really enjoy, like I took the girls I coached one day to a Ninja Warrior. We have a place here that has Ninja Warrior, and they have workouts and they have open gym, and it's like you're just running and swinging and holding on and like trying to catch bars and this and that, but it's like huge strength. Like you got to use your legs to climb the walls, and you got to use your legs to rope, and they had the warp wall and everything. And I mean, we were there for like 2 hours and we just had a blast. But it's a lot of strength, you know, it requires a lot of and different types of strength, from grip to arm to upper body to core to legs. It was kind of like a whole body workout. So those are a few of like the non-typical, I guess, things you'd say that I really, really enjoy. But then there's also the stuff you can do at home. So, Jess, tell us a little bit about like different things you enjoy doing for strengthening.
Yeah, I think I'm more of like a body weight support, like interval training kind of person, adding burpees and anything with like lunges, squats, things where I can go into planks, anything that I can do where I can easily go out to the beach and do a workout. I can do a workout here in our little gym. I can do a workout at home. For me, it just makes it more likely that I'll be consistent with it, because I can kind of change it up on the go. So if it's like a really nice day,
Mhm.
not too cold, then I might, run out to the beach, do, body weight support exercise, let the kids run around, chase birds, be crazy, and then pop them in the stroller and then come back and run, right? And just get a little bit of a run in. So I do like run for warm up, strengthen, and then, same thing in the backyard. So we've got,
Benefits of living by a beach.
yeah.
We don't have one of those here. Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, I'd be out there all the time.
Because for me, if I can get outside, I am so much more likely to be consistent with it. And if I can have my boys with me, same thing, because it's,
Mhm.
I can incorporate them in, let them run around and play. And then I can hook up, like if I'm in the backyard, I can hook up my TRX straps. I have a kettlebell out there. I've got some sliders. I've got a couple free weights. So I can do almost any combination of strengthening that, depending on the day and how intense I want it to be.
Yeah.
I can combine it all. And again, it's just going to be, I can do walking lunges around the play set into some burpees, into some planks and side planks. And I can easily keep an eye on everybody, but still kind of push myself to, for the strength to get actually a solid workout in. So that's more of what I do at this phase
Mhm.
in life. Whereas before I was more like a gym person. Like I did, Orange Theory and some of these other gyms where it's like there was a class at the Y that I used to really like that was all interval circuit, high intensity interval training that I
Mhm.
enjoyed. I used to go to a yoga studio and do like some power yoga, and I really enjoyed that as well. And right now it's I like being home and having dinner with the family and that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
some of those push my evening a little bit too late. So I've kind of worked my way out of that and then into working out at home. Uh, and COVID helped with that as well, because that kind of
Mhm.
quickly changed everything. And for me at this phase in life, that's what works for me. Whereas other people really do well with the structure of the gym, a class that you're meeting at a certain time, and the people that are there, which is really good for
Mhm.
connecting. So I think that there's benefits to both. Like there's not one
Yeah.
right or wrong answer. And I think as you go through phases of life, you just keep, I call it like pivots, so it's not these like big 180s all the time, but you just kind of keep pivoting. And as long as you're just kind of, you keep on keeping yourself fed in different ways, then it's going to change as time goes on. And in a couple of years, it might be different for me. I might say like, oh my gosh, this is really working well for my schedule right now. Maybe not. I don't know. Like when I was in Asheville, I used to trail run, and now I road run. They're just, or we'd hike all the time. And so again, now that I'm by the beach, I prefer to go out to the beach and do burpees and walking lunges and side planks and things like that. So
for me, there's something so calming, like so mentally like helping of going to the beach. I lived by one for a little bit of time, and just walking on it, so it's kind of finding those places.
It's just getting outside for me is like number one. Like if I can, unless it's cold and dark, then I'm like, well,
that's what's hard up here in the north, like from like October to like May sometimes, like, so that's where it's hard. And for me, that's where I got into the gyms more, is because that was consistent. And then I could do a lot of, I did my workouts more as like the gym, and then the like really fun, like just, and then I didn't even think about it when I would like go for bike rides. And that was just like fun to me. It wasn't even exercise, it was just like a treat. But the one thing I wanted to say about strengthening that you had brought up that I think is really good is realizing that there's different types of strengthening, whether it be a TRX, a stability ball, a resistance band, weights, and even the machines. They all have their different benefits. A machine is more controlled for you, so you can work on that heavier weight, whereas like free weights, you have to work on stability a little bit more. And one of my favorite things is to like mix that up, because if you're only strong in one way, that's not, just like how cardio, if you only run, that's not great for you. Like you want to cross train. So same with strengthening. If you only work on heavy weight, we're never working on the neuromuscular component of that. So that's where like stability ball and TRX come in handy. Not only can they be a little bit more body weight, but then they're adding in stability ball is one of my favorite, because some of like you do push-ups, put your feet up on the stability ball. It's not like putting your feet up on a bench. Like the stability ball moves, so it's like core stability you have to have in there. So you're activating more muscles in a different way, and it's just helping with the nerves in your nervous system to be able to better control your body. So I think it's really good to kind of mix all of those up, because they all have their benefits and they all have their downfalls. So a combination of them is like the best.
Oh, here in the clinic, I have people in their 80s using TRX yoga balls. Like like standing on, we call compliant surfaces, or things that are not firm, and doing their strengthening on there. Because why wouldn't you? Like, why wouldn't you get that benefit of the neuromuscular connection? So being able to control your body in space, if like you could strengthen on firm ground, or we can change it up a little bit and still strengthen. And we're going to get a lot more bang for our buck for control of, joint position in space, what we call proprioception, balance reactions. It just makes you more agile in general. And so while you're strengthening at the same time, I'm telling you, multitask, get it done all at once.
And I hate to tell you, but if you have hit the age, it's probably more like 25, but if you have hit the age of 30 or older, like your body, if you're not challenging it, if you're not, it's not getting stronger or better. It's, our balance is decreasing, our everything's decreasing at that point. And I know it sounds crazy because it's such a young age, but it's so much easier to kind of stay a steady and maintain, instead of like noticing when you're in your 40s, 50s, and you're like, oh my gosh, my balance isn't so good anymore. A lot easier to kind of maintain that as you go through your age. And even in your 30s, you need to work on balance and stuff like that.
Oh, just being agile in general. Yeah, it's like I have people all the time that are in their 40s plus, and they're like, oh yeah, I just, it's just because I'm this age now. Now I don't do X, Y, or Z. I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. And then I'll have someone in their 80s, and they're like crushing it on the TRX and doing a bunch of stuff. And they're like, what? I'm like, yeah, like you can. It's just your body's going to respond to the stresses that you put onto it. So if you put heavy stress onto your body, you will be strong, right? Like you'll create muscle mass, but it won't make you agile. So it's like you kind of constantly have to think about, how do I keep all of this balanced so that I can do what I want, but then have, again, low risk of injury, just being safe about things. So yeah, and there's there's free videos out there. Like there's like free yoga videos that you can watch. There's Tai Chi courses you could do. There's all sorts of different types of things like that you search them on YouTube, find somebody, follow them if you like what their vibe is. So it doesn't have to be something that is something you pay for, but it's something that you can do at home, which is pretty cool. So so that's kind of our take on trying to reframe exercise into something that is hopefully something that you can look forward to, structure a bunch of different things into your week. So that way it's not this like, I'm just going to go to the gym, I'm going to get it done, because that's not something that you're really going to keep up with long term. And we've got some exciting news with Two Gals. So we do have courses that we have created. So if you would like to actually learn a lot more about like, what is exercise? How do I actually think about it and implement it into my life? Then we've got a pretty big course. It's 4 lectures on exercise, where to start. And so it's like, how do I even get started in exercise? And how do I think about exercise? Like really putting yourself in the driver's seat instead of creating dependency on somebody else. And so that's kind of the whole point of the courses. They're not like, here's, watch these videos and, we're going to tell you exactly what to do every moment. These courses are more like, how do I think, so that you have that empowerment. Then we also have some smaller courses that are specific to, what is the TRX and how in the world do I use that? Like, what is that BOSU and how in the world do I use that? We see these things at gyms or like in the store and we're like, okay, it looks really cool, but like, there's like a couple of pictures of what they do, but like, how do you actually think about implementing that into your exercise routine over the course of a week? Same thing with those yoga balls. I mean, I love those things. Like Dr. Bobbie was saying, like doing a push-up on a yoga ball changes that push-up completely. So like we have smaller classes that are just about like some of these more niche-y kind of items versus like the bigger class of like exercise, where to start. So all of those are available on the website. We'll link those in the description below. And then if you become a Two Gals Insider in the month of February, we are going to be releasing workouts with us. And so each week, we're going to release a different kind of workout, a mobility workout, a TRX workout, a body weight support workout, something with free weights. And so it's going to be full recorded 15 to 20 minute workout that you can just play and just kind of learn some strategies for what to do and how to incorporate it. And we're kind of talking you through too, and just kind of, it's always about, how do I think about what my body is doing? And that's what's creating that neuromuscular connection, which is what's going to give you the most bang for your buck for time spent. And you get to hang out with us. So that's kind of fun.
So we get to lead it. And you get to work out with us.
Yeah. So we've got our membership group, which is a monthly membership. It's called the Two Gals Insiders. We have courses as well, which is more of like, you pay for it, download it, play it. Both are available. And then we're also on social media. So we've got new stuff coming out all the time. So, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram. It's super fun stuff. And you get the new episodes. We post in there when the new episodes for the podcast are coming out. So, and you learn a little bit about the people that are on the podcast. So now the challenge this week. So let's think about, try and add one new fun strengthening thing to your week. Just one. It could be a yoga video. It could be, something crazy that, you heard us talk about. Like maybe you're like, I do have these TRX straps. Let me get them out of my closet and try something. So be safe with it. Don't do anything that hurts you. But try one, just two, and see if it's something that you like. And if you don't, take it off the list. Move on to something else. That's
and
okay.
Take a picture and tag us. Take
Yes.
a picture and tag us at Two Girls in a Glass Half Full on Instagram. We'd love to kind of see all your pictures.
Yep, it's great to be able to share wins together as a community. And so the more that we put ourselves out there, the more that other people are going to be like, "Oh wow, that seems like a good idea. Maybe I should try that." Because I mean, everything we've listed is like the tip of the iceberg as far as like what you could do. I mean, like anybody could have these like super great ideas and we could learn from as well. So sharing knowledge is powerful. All right, everybody. Ooh, we look forward to next week. And each week after this, in the month of February, it's all different types of exercise, and we're going to be interviewing different people about their experience. So strengthening with the personal trainer is up next. Okay, bye.